Okay, so good morning. We're going to start with the Shema. And as I said, I'm going to try screen share. I'm going to try it on here first because that's bigger. See, now I don't know how to move you guys over so that I could see it. See, that's my problem, is I don't know how do I make the screen sharing smaller so that I can, are you all seeing on this side, or is it blocked by the pictures?
Oh, we see it well.
Yeah.
You can see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then maybe I need to
have to move it
turn
over.
off the, okay, so now I don't have any of your pictures. See, for me,
click
it's a
on
choice
view at
between,
the top and change how you want to see it. Like you can choose side by side or gallery or other things.
right, and I just turned it off. Let's see. But if I put it on, then it blocks, then it's blocking the prayer, the end of the prayer.
Move it over a little bit.
All right, I don't want to waste any more time. I've been keeping track of who's here, and I'm just going to be calling out people's names, okay? Because I can't see you. So if you all prefer it this way, then I want to do it this way, with the understanding that I'm not seeing your pictures right now. Okay.
It's
So
all perfect.
Roberta, would you like to read the 2 lines of the main Shema that's here?
Who do you call?
Roberta?
Sorry, I was muted. And I'm actually going to try and read them as opposed to reciting them from memory. So
that is definitely what we're asking you to do. Yeah.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Good.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Okay, and I am imagining everyone knows that the only time we say that second line out loud is on Yom Kippur, but I'm assuming everyone knows that. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay, now you know. And this is just from some vague thing in the back of my head. Don't quote me. I probably shouldn't even say it, but I think it stems back from Roman times when we weren't allowed to say this out loud, and so it became like very secretive and people would only say it very, very silently. But on Yom Kippur, I guess we decided it was important enough that we said it out loud. But that's just some vague memory I have. Okay. And now we're going to turn to the V'ahavta. So Roberta, since that was pretty easy, I'll ask you to read the first line through here, through to this first pause. And Jill, these are the 2 dots you were talking about last week that indicate the end of a sentence, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
And just to show you the comma, since this is from the Torah, so there's trope, okay? So a lot of these extra markings in here are trope. Under the Elohecha, you see this marking that's like an upside down V. That's called an etnachta, and that's a comma. The 2 dots here are a pasuk, which is a end of a sentence, like a period, more or less. Okay, Roberta, V'ahavta.
Barbara, if you use the pictures on the gallery up at the top, then we would have the whole screen. Meanwhile, our pictures are cutting off the beginning of
that is your settings.
Oh,
I don't. Okay, and as I said many times, I don't want to waste a lot of time on the screen sharing. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure that's your settings. Okay.
Can I just make one suggestion to help her? Just
sure.
You see the black bar at the top?
Yeah.
There's a box of 6 dots, 2 dots, and so on. Push down on that black bar and move it to the left. Then you'll be fine.
Okay.
Do your left to your left bar
Thank
and
you.
you can slide it over. That's
You.
all.
Got it. Did it.
Okay. Okay, Roberta, Vahavta.
Okay. Ve'ahavta, 8, Adonai, Elohecha, B'chol levavcha, Uv'chol nafshecha, Uv'chol me'odecha.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Fran.
Okay. Who?
Yeah, you don't forget the good.
You.
Yeah.
Ad Karim. Ha'ela.
Wait, go back to the word before. What was the first letter?
Hadavarim.
Okay, good. I didn't hear the ha. I thought you said ah. Okay, good. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ha'ela Asher Anochi Mitza. No, this is Mesaucha.
Vicha.
Vicha.
Yeah, mitzvah vicha. Yeah.
Misavecha Hayom Al Lavavecha.
Okay, good. Sandra? Sandy?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Vishinatam levanecha udvarecha. No. Vadivaret. Vadivareta.
Dibarta. Yeah. Dibarta.
Vadibarta. Bam Bisha Bishiv Techa Bave Techa.
Good.
Uvleftecha Baderech Uvshafpecha Uvkumecha.
Okay, good. So here's it's not the first example, but it's an example. Does everyone see you see my cursor when I go like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so do you see that the vowel here, this is larger than for example this one or this one?
Yes.
So every book, well, not every book, but several books have a different way of showing that. So I can't show you right this second, but in Sim Shalom, when they want to indicate, so that's telling you that it's pronounced O. It's in all the notes that I sent you, it's the Kataf Kamatz, or it's there's another name for it that I normally call it, or Kamatz Katan. Kamatz Katan. Katan means small and Kataf means short, but it's the same. So it's telling you that it's pronounced O, not A. Like everyone just instinctively knows it when you see it with call. You know, generally people know that it's call, not kal, because we just know that word from so many places, like here's b'chol levavcha or uv'chol. So there I didn't stop to say this because pretty much everyone pronounces it O, but in a place like here, uv'shoch b'cha, if you're not aware of that, you're not gonna. So in Lev, I'm fairly sure this PowerPoint was made out of Lev Shalem, and they just make that vowel larger. In Sim Shalom, they make it it has like a break. I'm not going to be able to show you, I'm afraid, but maybe in another time. It looks a little bit different. It's like a broken T rather than a full, full T. And those are the two examples I'm aware of. So I just want to point it out. It's not a big deal. I've noticed that in Hebrew school, they do not make a big deal with the kids and teach them that. It's just something, you either become aware of because you care about things like that, or you go through your life and you have no idea, if that makes any sense.
Barbara, could you pronounce the word again? Because I know that ufhol. So
ufshoch becha instead of ufshach becha. You hear the difference? Ufshoch becha. So
Barbara, does that mean that when it's the large T shape, it's always an all instead of an ah?
Or o, yeah, o or yeah.
So it's never an ah, it's an all or an o.
Right.
Okay.
I think that I'm pretty sure that in like more modern Hebrew, I don't want to say Orthodox versus conservative, but it might be that, they're trying to say it as O rather than awe. Awe, I think, reminds people of, the old men, Ashkenazic men, from Eastern Europe, so they're trying to get it to be O. That's what I learned from one of our assistant rabbis several years ago, that it's not awe, it's O, but so if you're going to learn it, if you're going to care about this, try to remember to do it as O. If this is just more detailed and it just doesn't matter to you, say ah. I don't want to be correcting that, if that makes any sense. I might occasionally remind you in case, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I'm just mentioning it. Am I making sense? It's like not essential, but it's if you're going to learn something, learn it correctly, and is how I view life. So
I think that's such a fabulous tip. I have to say, the book I'm using just a weekday prayer book, and it's smaller. It doesn't have the larger vowel in that, so I never would have noticed that before. So that's fabulous.
Right. Yeah. And I'm without even taking out my Silverman, I'm going to assume it's not even in there. Right. I wasn't aware of it until we started using Sim Shalom, which of course is 20 years ago, or whatever, and I noticed that, why does that look different? What is that? And finally I understood it. And then Lev Shalem really took it to another level, and you can't miss that that's different from, you can't miss that these two things are different. So they really tried to, so as the newer books come out, they're trying to make people aware of this. So, okay. So I'm sorry I interrupted. Was it Pixie who was reading when I stopped dead in the middle of it?
No.
Who was it?
No, I was reading, but I finished the line.
Okay.
You went back to it.
Okay.
So.
I just didn't know. I wanted to make sure I knew. And I also, could someone please tell me, I know this sounds ridiculous, but did more people come since we started reading? How many people are in the participant list now?
13.
Okay. 13. So that's helpful. Okay. Jody, if you want to start with Ukshar Tam.
Ukshar Tam, Leot, Al, Yadecha.
So the other thing to note, since we do have the trope note is most often, there are some exceptions, but generally in almost all cases where this trope note is, and of course you don't know that it's a trope note because is the syllable that gets emphasized. So yadecha.
Yadecha. Veyahu.
Wait, I think you reverse those sounds.
Ve'au.
Vehayu.
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 Good.
Leto talfot bain enecha.
Good. You want to finish that next line?
I'll share.
Okay, Jill.
Uchtavtam al mezuzot betecha uv sharecha.
Okay, good. Does anyone have any questions about this? Should we move on to the next? We're not going to do that middle paragraph, but we are going to do the last paragraph.
Barbara, Barbara, sorry, which version are you using, or which book that has these trope notes in it? Or
I
do most of them have them?
I think all Sidurim have the trope
Okay.
notes for the Shema and the Yahavta. I'm pretty positive.
I have a question about Torah reading. I'm sorry if I cut you off. If you say, well, how do they know when to correct the Torah reading if they're reading it as an or an o, or, I mean, they usually correct the Torah reading when it's read wrong.
Right, but that, at least in my synagogue, and you know, in my synagogue, we do not correct. We have a list of things that we don't correct for. So for example, if someone says vuchol here instead of buchol, we don't correct. Okay. If they say a pay instead of a fay, we don't correct. And if they say instead of o, we don't correct. Now, if you go to Chabad or someplace else, I don't know if that's considered a mistake or not. Mm-hmm. But so that's something you know, I became very, very aware of it because of Torah reading, because I use the art scroll. It's downstairs now. I'm practicing for Saturday, but I use a book that tells me every single detail, and I care about every single detail. But 90% of the people who read Torah in my synagogue don't even know about that. Okay, if that answers your question, that's not considered a mistake in my synagogue. I can't talk for yours. Okay. Who was that, by the way, so I know?
Audrey. Okay,
thanks. Are there any other questions about how to pronounce anything? I noticed two people didn't say the yud with vihayu and it's the same word, vihayu and vihayu. So that happened twice with two different people. Let's see. Is there anything else? And we talked about this vav last week, that in here it is its own consonant and mitzavecha, right? And it has a shva as its vowel. So it's a consonant with its vowel. And this dot here is not really doing anything in here. Anything else? I'm trying to look for words you might want to know. So ahav is love. Ohev. Ahava, the cosmetics, is love. Bechol livavcha. So vav is lave is your heart, is a heart, right?
And chol is all.
Yes, bechol, with all.
Chol is all.
The cha here is a suffix that means your.
Just a minute, come in.
Let's see. Anochi, so ani is usually how we say I, but very often when it's God, God says anochi. Hayom, today. I mean, we could go on, but I'd rather go on with some Hebrew. Okay, so we're going to skip that middle paragraph that everyone says silently. We could come back to it at another time, but that would be much more difficult since people aren't accustomed to hearing it. And so let's go to the third paragraph, which is where we if we wear talit, we kiss our tzitzit. Of course, it's been really interesting with a mask on for all these months when we try to kiss our tzitzit. Okay, So I am up to Sheila for Vayomer Adonai.
We're doing it again. We're starting from the beginning.
No.
No, we were going to go on to the next paragraph, which I'm showing here, but I don't, unless you're looking at it in a book. Are you looking at it in a book?
No, I'm looking at it on the screen.
Great.
I'm on the book.
Okay.
So Sheila, I'm talking to.
Yes.
Are you looking here, Vayomer Adonai?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Vayomer Adonai al Mechar Limor.
So the 3 dots here is L, not al. And this is, do you see the mem and the vowel is here? O, Moshe, Moses.
Oh, but Moshe. Limor.
So 2 dots is A, 1 dot, where's the 1 dot? Is E, here like seat. This is E, and this is A. So El Moshe Lemor. So yeah. God said to Moses, Yomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor, saying, it's a funny construct. It's always it's God said to Moses saying, but this comes up, I don't have to tell you, over and over and over again, and it's a funny construct, but that's how it is. So you can see the Omer, right, and the Lemor is the same word. Okay, go ahead, read the next line because that was very short.
Okay. I'm having trouble with that next word.
Okay, what is the first letter? Do you know? Dalet?
Yes.
Okay.
Damer.
Daber.
Oh, Daber. Al.
L. Just the difference between L and Al matters to me. So you see, this is Al.
Al.
L. You see?
Al.
L.
El. Bnei Yisrael. Be'emo. Ve'ame avema.
Ve'amarta.
Amorta.
Amarta.
Amorta. Elohim.
Alehem. Alehem.
Oh, Almehem. Alechem.
Good.
Baal Shah.
Look what side the dot is on.
It's on the sin side.
Right.
Al sin.
V'asu.
Oh, v'amsu. Lechem. Lahem. Tzitzit.
Good.
Al beve.
This is a cough, not a bait. It looks very similar. I cannot deny that it looks very similar, but this one doesn't have this little extra tail or whatever they call it. Yeah. I'll convey.
I'll seen.
What are you up to?
The first line.
First line. I thought we were up to tzitzit al, and you were here. Al kan.
Eve fe.
Kan fe.
Kan, but it has the dot. So isn't that a B?
No, it's a kaf. The B here, this is a bait here. Do you see the difference between this and this? This has an extra little, it goes beyond the, I don't know how to describe these things. That's why I don't teach beginner, because I don't know how to describe the difference between the letters. You see how this has an extra little, I think people call it a tail or something after, and this does not. So this is kanfei.
Kanfei. They,
the one dot is E. Vig.
Viga. Vige. Da. Hem.
Vig de hem. So kanaf, it's here again, it is a corner. So on the corners of their garments, so beged is clothing. So it's on the corners of your clothing, or in this case, it's the hem is a suffix for they, for their. So on the corners of their clothes, on the corners of their garments, to make for them tzitzit on the corners of their garments.
Barbara, before we go on, can we just do like a recap, something that came up last week? The word al, you said kanfei. I wasn't sure at that. I know this could be the subtle difference, but al kanfei or kanfei?
It's kanfei.
Just kanfei. Okay.
And the reason I said it so confidently is because I am I'm gonna take that back because it's not in this particular. I'm looking in the art scroll where they normally tell you every single time when to pronounce the shva.
I also noticed that above it where it says El B'nai, the two dots under the bet are larger than the two dots under the nun below it. And then look one down at under the top, it's larger again. Is that intentional?
Where are you? El B'nai Israel?
See under the bet, those are larger dots than if you look under the nun in Kanfei.
Or under Yisrael.
Correct.
That's right next to it. I've never noticed that. I have absolutely no idea. Never seen that before. I'm just looking in, I'm looking in a different book and it's not like that at all. So I don't know if it's because, if it's a typesetting thing because there's only 2 letters rather than 5, that the vowel comes out larger. I have absolutely no idea.
Is it also potentially emphasis? Because like when you do, we say El B'nai and we really kind of get into the B'nai part, like an emphasis.
But it's really El B'nai. That's why that the trope note is under the nun, because it's El B'nai Yisrael. Okay. So I have no idea. The answer to your question is I don't know. Sorry. We could, if someone wants to take that on as a research project, I have never, I'm just looking at where else that happens. And I'm just wondering if it's, when it's the first letter, looks like it's under the B'nai and the Techeled and V'haya and Livavchem, V'achare. You know, I'm noticing it when the Shva is under the first letter, seems to be bigger. So it's all leading me to think.
If you look at the 4th line, Litzitzit, it's there too.
Right, and that again is the first letter, whereas in Urtem, it's second letter.
That's where you pronounce them, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Shva is pronounced there?
Well, the Shva is always pronounced in the first letter.
Right, And that's where we're seeing the bigger dots.
Well, but sometimes we pronounce it inside. I don't think that that's telling us when to pronounce the schwa, but it might be, and we could start paying attention to it and find out. But I have never. That would be absolutely terrific if Lev Shalem told you where to pronounce the schwa.
Did you say that when the schwa is under the first letter, it's always pronounced, but then when it's under middle letters,
otherwise you'd have no way of saying the letter.
But when it's in the middle of a word or towards the end, then it's not pronounced.
No, then it just depends.
Okay.
Then it just depends.
Okay.
I did not send you the article about the schwa last week because I didn't want to overload my email, but I will send it to you. And for anyone who's really interested in that, all I can do is recommend buying the Art Scroll books because they tell you. Like here's an example. It's further down in the prayer. Let me see. Tis Karu. Where's Tis Karu? Here. Okay, so it might be, this is fantastic because in the Art Scroll, it's saying that we pronounce this one and that is bigger than the one under the Zion. This is, Lev Shalem tells you where to pronounce the schwa. I'm so excited. He's Karu. That is so great. Wow, that is so good. Okay, that's the answer. That's the answer. It's bigger when you pronounce it. Wow. Okay, because that's the only one in the whole paragraph that Art Scroll is telling us to pronounce, and I think it's the only one where it's not the first letter where we're seeing it. So let's keep watching, but that might be it. Good. Let's see. I know that so Audrey read.
Where are we?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I think you were reading when.
No, I wasn't reading. Somebody else was reading.
I was, Sheila.
Okay, so Audrey, you didn't start yet?
No.
Okay, it was your turn, but I honestly don't know what we were up to.
We're on Ladoratam.
Ladoratam, the not new al tzitzit hakanaf b'til techelet.
Okay, so we already talked about the kanaf, the kanaf being the corner, right? But we put the tzitzit on the corner, and you know about techelet, right? Does someone want to tell us what techelet is?
It's color. Is it the color of the snail?
Right. So patil is a thread, and techelet is that color, that blue color that they rediscovered. Like 15 years ago,
yeah.
Okay. So that's good. So and you can see that the line we talked about last week that's telling us that it's techelet, right? And not techelet, right? Techelet. Okay. Go ahead, read a little bit more.
V'chayu lachem l'tzitzit.
V'haya.
I'm sorry. V'chaya lachem l'tzitzit or item oto. Should I go on?
Yeah, read to the end of that line.
Uzachartem et kol mitzvotai Adonai va'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem asher ata zonim achareichem.
Okay, what was this one?
Atem.
Okay, I thought you said ata, but okay. Let's see, Sarah. Lama'an.
Tiskru. Now that you said that, Tiskeru.
Well, I will say one more thing, that in this case, it's almost not even necessary, because anytime you have two schwas in a row, you always pronounce the second one.
Okay.
That's a rule that's even in like the 4th grade Hebrew school book. But nevertheless, it was good because it told us that Lev Shalem might tell us about the Shvaz, which is
Shalom sure doesn't.
No.
Tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvot mitzvotah mitzvote
tie. The yud, it makes it I. Yeah,
right.
Mhm.
Mitzvotai v'hayitem kiddoshim leilochem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzi te hotzeti
and it's hotzeti. Yeah.
Hotzeti, right? Is that Hotzeti etchem me eretz Mitzrayim leyot lechem leelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Okay, good. So the core, words here are the Ani Adonai Elohechem, I am
the Lord your God.
I am the Lord who your God. Elohe, so Elohe is God and Chem is the plural form for you. So you plural, your God. Asher who, so Hotzeti etchem me, I took you out. Hotzeti, the E here is I, is the verb form for I, the past tense. I took you. You, etchem is you. Me from Eretz Mitzrayim, the lands of Egypt, right? So I just want to, because that comes up over and over and over, and over again. So that's like a core principle, right? A core fundamental tenet of Judaism. So I just want to point it out when we see it. Okay. I would like to read that second paragraph again. And I'm going to ask again, please make sure that we still only have 13 people or 12 because Sandy was going to leave early. Is that right?
12. Sandy left.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Okay, Iris, if you want to read the from the start of Vayomer.
Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Le Emor Daber El Bnei Yisrael Ve'amarta Elohim Ve'asu Lahem Tzitzit Al Kanfei Begedehem.
Okay, thank you. And Teresa.
לדורותן ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל.
It's a P. It has the
dot.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one thing I always confuse. I need to review one sounds F and one sounds P.
Yeah.
Okay.
Petil.
Tichelet. I'm sorry. Tichelet. Behaya. Lechem. Letzitzit. Or Uritem. It's Otov.
Oto.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Otov, you're right. Otov. Uzhartem. Et Kol Mitzrot
Mitzvot. It's a vav, not
Mitzvot Adonai.
Okay, thank you. Amy Schulman?
Va'asitem otam below taturu achare levavchem va'achare einechem asher atem zonim acharechem.
Okay, a little bit more, yeah.
Lama'an tizkeru, right?
Yeah.
Va'asitem.
This made the whole day worth it. See that? Okay, go ahead.
So tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai.
Good.
What's that one?
Vihitem.
Say it again.
Vihitem.
Vihitem.
So another thing that's in the art scroll that you're not going to find in most other books is it actually has like one of these lines telling you to stop after the V. It's a pronunciation because otherwise you really can't say it. If you don't stop after V, it's like Vihitem.
Vihitem.
Right. It's almost another way of saying that you pronounce the schwa here, because then you're starting, it's like you're starting the word all over again with, right? Vihitem. Yeah.
Vihitem. Kedoshim. Leolechem.
Just look again. The aleph has no vowel at all. So it's just lay.
Oh, okay. Lelo Heichem.
Good.
Lelo Heichem.
Okay, good. So we're Roberta. Why don't you read from there to the end now? Ani
Adonai Elo Heichem Asher Otseiti Etchem Me Eretz Mitzrayim Liot, or is that Li? What do you do with that?
Lihiyot.
Lihiyot. Okay.
Or Liyot. Either this is a case where it could be either one because yeah.
Okay. Liyot. Lachem. Leilo. Him. Ani. Adonai. Elo. Heichem.
Good. Okay. So does everyone feel comfortable with with these two paragraphs of the Shema? Should we go on to something else? Does someone want to, I don't know how many times to review and when you're comfortable, unless you tell me. So
I think we learn more with every new thing that we do.
Right. And so next time we come back to this, we might say, oh, so I'm very happy that the woman who made this PowerPoint did it from Lev Shalem, because otherwise would not have known that, because I bought it and I have it, but I still use my Sim Shalom, most often. Okay, so Vishamru and Lechadodi are not in here, but since we're in here and we only have 5 minutes left, I don't want to start changing the screen share. So I am thinking that maybe we'll just do the Baruch Hu, and make sure we know Baruch Hu. Let's see. Or let's do the blessings before and after Torah reading, because that's another thing that, you know, comes up all the time, that you want to be able, you don't want to have to tell the Gabbai or whomever's coming around that you don't know the blessings well enough to have an aliyah, right? So everyone is going to practice. We might not do it all today, but we'll start with this next week too. Everyone is going to be ready to have an aliyah the next time they are asked. Okay, so we're up to Fran. Would you like to start with Baruch Hu?
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Okay, and it's Hamivorach. Hamivorach. And yeah, and it's also, and just for those who are paying attention, it's Baruch. Now we know it's Baruch Hu and Hamivorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. So okay. Okay, and then Fran, you repeat that. Yeah, no, after the congregation says Baruch Adonai Havarach, you repeat it, right?
Am I still reading or what?
Yeah, I thought you were. I'm sorry. As I said,
I'm sorry. They're drilling in my apartment. I can't even hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we were pretending that you're having an aliyah. So you.
Yeah, I Baruch Hu Adonai Hamavorach.
Okay, and then we all say Baruch Adonai Havarach. And then you repeat it. Yeah.
Okay. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'notan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Okay, amen. Okay, let's see, Pixie. Your turn.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natav v'sochenu Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Okay, natav. What? Say this word again.
B'tochenu.
B'tochenu. Okay, I thought you said b'tosenu. Okay.
No.
I just wasn't sure. Okay, do you want to do from the beginning, or do you have aliyot all the time and you don't need to practice? I'm just trying to I just want to make sure there's nobody here who doesn't, won't feel comfortable going up for an aliyah. So okay, Jody, you want to start with Baruch Hu?
Baruch Hu et Adonai Havarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Can you repeat
Baruch
that?
Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch
Torato.
V'Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Notain HaTorah. Yeah, there's something about the sound. I'm sure you said that. Okay. All right, Jill.
Baruch from the beginning, or just
yeah. Just what's the word? I can't think of the word. Go ahead. Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu kol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Okay. Sheila, let's pretend now that that the reading is finished and you're saying the blessing after the Torah reading. So Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Asher natalanu Torat emet bechaye olam nata betochenu Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Okay, good. And Audrey, you want to read that last paragraph?
Sure. I'm sorry. I have a hard to stop. I need to leave. Thank you so much.
Oh,
and
it
see you
is
next
11.
week.
Okay, okay.
I apologize.
Yeah,
Bye.
no, that's fine. And that was Teresa, right? Who said that? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Okay. So just one thing I find interesting that I like to share with people is the do you see this natan and this nata? So I don't know about, can anyone hear me? It got very quiet.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I just want to point out that they are completely different words, and when you hear it, when all you're doing is hearing it and not paying attention, I know a lot of people think it's the same word. Who gave us the Torah? Who gave us true, Torah truth or Torah emet?
Torah of truth.
But the interesting part to me is this nata. This nata, it has a different, different T, right? It's not the tav and tet. So this means, and who planted, this nata means planted betochenu, inside us. Who planted inside us. I don't have it. So it planted the Torah inside us. I just find it a very, very nice phrase, and I as I said, I for a long time thought it was the same root from Natan and gave up, before I knew what all the words meant. I might not be explaining it, and you might not appreciate what I'm saying, but if you do,
very interesting. That's beautiful.
And I wouldn't, I would imagine that whoever wrote these things originally or chose what to put in our prayers, we're very aware of the similar sounds and the alliteration and I think it was probably done purposefully to make it like poetry and to make it anyhow. I just wanted to point that out because I find it interesting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's we're past the time, so I don't want to. But I was hoping to find it in this little book. I wasn't planning on doing this today, so I didn't have it marked in my book, but I'll look it up and be a little more articulate about it next time. It was really the Natan and the Nata. I wanted you to know were two completely different words that are here. And this is within us, betoch chenu, within us. Okay, so it's now 3 minutes after. So next time, I don't know that I'm going to be able to make a pretty PowerPoint like this with the other prayers that we're going to be doing, but I will try. And really that's all. I can send you the information about the Shva, but now we know that we have it's even in our our main prayer, our main Sidurim today, they've actually started showing us when to say the Shva, which is magnificent. And what else? We'll start with Vashamaru, and we'll continue along with the Chadodi, and we'll go from there. And are there any questions or?
I've got to go off.
Yeah, I after that I want to do all the different forms of the Kaddish. So just so you know what's coming after the Chadodi, we'll do the different forms of Kaddish, because that's
Barbara, I wasn't able to. I had my kids here all week, so they just left last night, so I wasn't able to buy a Siddur. Yeah. And which one would you prefer us to get?
as I said, with whichever one is used in, you know, in your synagogue, and you know, after learning, I think Lev Shalem, for your sake, not for mine, you know, is the best one at this point. I really do. It's just beautiful. It has beautiful, you know, readings and explanations, and you know, I don't want to be taking anything away from Sim Shalom, and you know, but now that I see that they tell you how to pronounce the Shva, it's like I'm sold on it. So yeah, here's another one. Nifle ota techa. This came up in my last class. Someone wanted to know about this lamed and does she pronounce the Shva or not? And I was like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. And then I found it in Art Scroll, and here it is again. So nifle otecha, definitely. Now we know that.
What is Art Scroll?
Art Scroll is the.
Can you stop the sharing? Do we need this?
Stop the share. Good. Okay.
Just because I want to see everybody.
Yeah, no, it's great. As I have made pretty clear by now, screen sharing is not something I do all the time. Art Scroll is I don't know how to describe it. It's an Orthodox, definitely from the, you know, Orthodox book. Publication. I sent the link to you in my email last Thursday or Friday, probably Friday. I gave you the link to these little pocket books. There's a Shabbat book, and there's a book of Psalms, and there's the weekday prayer book. And for people who are really interested in exactly what every word means and how to pronounce every Shva, it is, you know, it's the only place I know to get both at the same time.
I just got it. I think it's great.
It's fantastic.
I mean, if you want to know what things mean, I got this one. I don't know if you can see it.
What is it? What does it say in English?
It's the Schottenstein edition for Shabbat and festivals. And you have to say with interlinear.
Interlinear, right. So you have the same one as me, but it looks like you have the full size one.
I got the full size one just because of my eyes. I can't see a little type. But you have to say the interlinear translation. I first bought the wrong book and had to send it back.
Oh, okay.
Did you say Schattenstein?
Yes, it's SCHOTTENSTEIN. And
we need to get it with.
It's in the email that I sent you last Friday.
I was very deep in many diapers.
Isn't that the only used in the Orthodox synagogues?
Yes.
In Toronto here, only the Orthodox use that prayer book.
Right. I'm just telling you, I like it because it tells me what every word means. Okay. Whereas the other books, you know, you know what it means, but they don't translate it word by word. It's more like poetry or an interpretation or it's just not word. I can't go from one side of the page to the other and be positive what every single word means. Whereas here it tells me, I told you at the beginning, I am a perfectionist and I like every single thing right. And so it's just for myself. I'm not imposing it on you unless I accept when I do, and I apologize, but okay.
We, in my synagogue, even though we're egalitarian, we do not read the prayers with the matriarchs. We're very traditional, and we almost bought that one, but we thought we'd be out of line if we had continued with Art Scroll. So
interesting. Yeah, we never had Art Scroll. We used Silverman, I think you know, and then we went to Sim Shalom.
Right.
Yeah.
Barbara,
thank you.
Barbara, yesterday we were at an Orthodox funeral, and the rabbi, when he got to the Kaddish, he read the first part where everybody, you know, joins in it right after that. And then he had about 3 or 4 additional lines before he went back to the other stuff that everybody knew. And
what part of the funeral was it?
When at the end when people say the Kaddish.
For the mourners only?
Well,
for the people who were, I think there is a special Kaddish that is at funerals. I'm not positive about it.
There is.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised. And the reason I'm saying this is because the first time I taught this class and we were doing the Kaddish, and I was telling people, well, there's the Chatzi Kaddish and the full Kaddish and the Kaddish de Rabbanan and the Kaddish when you finish studying a section of, Mishnah or whatever. And so I had come up with, like, I don't remember what the numbers were, 4 or 5 versions. And I remember there was a woman in the class who said, Barbara, there's another one that they say at funerals. So I'm just saying that might have been what that was.
Yeah, well, we figured that was what it was, but I just wondered, because everybody joined in and then, because a lot of us were conservative and, we just kind of looked at each other. Okay, what's he saying?
Yeah, but she had, now that you mention it, she definitely grew up Orthodox, the woman I'm talking about. So she probably knows it. Yeah, but anyway, that's funny that
gotta go.
Okay. So so good. So I think we made some progress today, and as I said, I want everyone to feel comfortable having an aliyah. I want everyone comfortable saying the Mourner's Kaddish, and then we'll go on from there. So okay.
In your email for the week, coming week, you'll tell us what prayers.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. Yeah, I like doing that, and I like giving you the page numbers for the different books. And
thank you.
But you have the electronic now. I can keep putting that in every time because I just have to cut and paste. It's no work. So okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Good. Shabbat shalom.